As an overeager self-appointed keeper of the hoops flame, I feel some obligation to take a beat and acknowledge the exceptional play that we just saw from Luka Doncic in Game 4 of this opening round playoff series against the Clippers. I was trying to take a hoops break on Sunday afternoon, but my phone started to pick up notification momentum, and we've all been there. Texts like, "I assume you're watching," or "This kid is on another level." Finally, I got the ominous, "You need to get to a TV right now." There are a few players that can elicit that type of moment-creating basketball, and I think that Luka Doncic is in that category. What Luka did during Game 4 was the type of thing that becomes canonized in the lore of an all-time great player. With his 45 points, 13 assists, and 17 rebounds, he's the youngest player to post a 40-point playoff triple-double in NBA history. And he did it on 64.8% true shooting in the fourth playoff game of his NBA career. Things were looking bleak from the outset for the Mavs. Kristaps Porzingis was out during this game with a sore knee, and the Clippers led by as much as 21 in the second quarter. But in the middle portion of this game, Luka started to exert his will on the flow. He scored 23 points during the second and third quarters. It was amazing to watch the Clippers, a roster full of guys that would seem tailor-made to stifle this kind of play style, time and time again fail to keep him from orchestrating the offensive pace. Defending Luka is like trying to race someone who is also holding the starting gun. He has an odd sort of gait for a star player, but Luka's start-stop ability and situational awareness are elite. The Clippers were in drop coverage during this game, but on this play Kawhi goes over the top and pushes Luka into Zubac, who is waiting in the lane. Luka feels that Kawhi has detached and immediately attacks him for a lefty layup. Next play, opposite side of the floor, Shamet meets Luka high, likely trying to get the ball out of his hands, and Luka basically yawns and finds a cutting Tim Hardaway Jr. Dropping like this against a Luka pick and roll is really tough, because even though he's not going to turn the corner and take that jump shot, inviting him into the middle of the floor is like courting death. He makes floaters, draws fouls, throws lobs. Luka's presence is a chemistry injection. Guys are going to cut harder because they know that their effort will be rewarded. It's basic incentivization. Watch this extra wrinkle that they add as Dorian Finney-Smith goes from screening for Luka and turns around to screen for the flashing Tim Hardaway Jr. The Clippers blitz the shooter out of fear, and Hardaway Jr. smartly whips it to Finney-Smith, and that's just beautiful basketball. Luka sees the flow of a game the way a beat composer might see a timeline. If a snare is here, a kick should go here. If I get to the rim and score in this situation, Morris will likely come down and help here, and bang. The Clippers finally went small in the fourth quarter to attempt to slow down his downhill movement, but also to avoid the perimeter shooting that was coming as a result of that. But switching just gives Luka the opportunity to go hunting, and even if he's walled up, he has this uncanny ability to outlast people on drives. He moves people. Watch how he keeps his balance and he just churns his legs like a third down back. Cherry on the Sunday here, but this is also one of the best on-ball defensive games that I've ever seen Doncic play. Top to bottom, the Mavs are playing with some guts. Trey Burke was unbelievable throughout this game, picking up timely buckets on broken plays, and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Seth Curry were outstanding and managed to play within themselves while also being very aggressive. This has been an incredible matchup and series, in my opinion the best of the first round, by far. How the leadership on the Clippers roster responds here is going to be fascinating to watch, because that was a haymaker from a Mavs team that is missing key pieces. I also have to assume that Luka was shouting at Pat Beverly throughout the game. Will Pat Bev honor us with his presence before this series is through, and will it matter? And I don't say this to be a jerk. I think it's true. If these LA Clippers are a title quality NBA team, and if Paul George is a max level superstar, he and the Clippers have to respond in Game 5. Here's the thing. We should not be surprised that Luka is adapting at this speed. This is what his adult life as a basketball player has been. In my time watching and thinking about hoops, I feel like I've said some seemingly audacious things about who I think this semi-stalky Slovenian could become. I wasn't alone in doing that, but you always want to avoid going overboard and being hyperbolic. Luka has to go and do the work, but he's making it harder and harder to show that restraint. How much more proof do we need that we're watching a transcendent player in this league? I also just have to point this out. It's unbelievably fitting that on what would have been Kobe Bryant's 42nd birthday, a 21-year-old Slovenian phenom, playing on a badly sprained right ankle and without his star wingman, would thrust himself into NBA history by having the stones to shoot and hit a game winner after having airballed 2 similar shots just before. That's one of the more Mamba-minded things I have ever heard. It's just perfect. Let me know if you agree.